Good morning, WGBR News Talk 1150. This is your Monday edition of Newsmakers. Good morning, I'm Carol Bowden. The time is 8:38, and thank you so much for joining me this morning and my two distinguished guests. We have Mr. Eddie Pitzer, General Manager of the Wayne County Livestock Development Association and the Wayne Regional Agricultural Fair. Good morning, Eddie.
Good morning, Carol.
And joining Eddie and I is Mr. Curtis Shiver, who's president of the Wayne County Livestock Development Association. Good morning, Curtis.
Good morning to you. It's good to be here.
Well, it is very good to have you here, and we were just talking off the air before we got started that so many people think you guys only do something around October. I'm here to tell you that's so not true. You guys are busy all the time because the fair is just one small part of what you do, but the Livestock Association or Development Association is huge. You just had your annual meeting back on February 24th. We're talking scholarships, we're talking livestock show and sale, so many things. So let's get started. Who wants to go first?
We have an annual meeting each year in February, and it's toward the end of February in order to get all of our financial record in proper condition. And at that meeting, we sort of summarize the year that we've had. And one of the things that we do is award scholarships, and we award an outstanding producer, livestock producer in Wayne County, as well as we recognize an individual or couple who have provided service to the association over the year. And this year, we awarded 8 scholarships, totaling $18,000.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. It's one of the better scholarships in terms of a monetary value that you'll see in Wayne County from an organization such as the Livestock Association. Since 1985, we have awarded over $162,000 in scholarship, and we give 3 scholarships. One is to an individual who plans to go to a community college and study agriculture or study livestock and agriculture or some related field. Another scholarship is to an individual who is planning to transfer from a community college or even a 4-year college and go to NC State, or in this case possibly Mount Olive because they have an agriculture program as well, or A&T where they have agriculture program. And then we have those 2 scholarships for $1,200 each. And then we have a $2,400 scholarship to a high school senior who's going directly to 4-year college, hopefully to study agriculture. And the 2 main criteria for the scholarship is one, that they are entering a program in agriculture, livestock production, or some area closely related to that, or they are an individual who has been heavily involved in association activities such as the fair and the junior livestock show and sale.
You know, we talked about this at one point, and I can't remember which guest it was, that I think it was Kevin Johnson, actually, that you just don't realize what a broad range that is. You think, well, they have to go into livestock. Well, that doesn't mean that they just have to deal with cows, goats,
Right.
chickens. Mm-hmm. There's so many different areas that they can reach out into. So these scholarships are tremendous.
Some of the recipients, and we have 1 or 2 this year, but they have been participating in association activities very heavily. They're very actively involved in it. And they may not go directly into an agriculture field, but the field that they go into, they will be able to promote agriculture. And that's one of the things that we look for as well. And we have students, of course, we get a lot of students that go to NC State. We had one last year that has gone to Dartmouth.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That is the difference.
That's the first one that I've known that has gone, to an Ivy League college.
That's got to make you proud to know that Wayne County kid has gone to that. Wow.
Also says a lot for the quality of the kids that are participating and involved in the programs that we have and where they're planning to go into agriculture. There's a lot of talent.
I had an opportunity to look over the brochure that you brought me because one of the big things coming up is the 66th annual Wayne County Junior Livestock Show and Sale. And, people don't particularly understand, if they're not in the agricultural world, just what this is all about. And to have a history that strong back in the late 40s and right on up until the mid-50s, it was called the Wayne County Fat Stock Show. I love that.
Yeah.
So glad you changed the name there. These are kids that have been involved in 4-H, FFA, and I can remember that being very strong when I was in school. And they learn a lot. And it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't mean that they're just growing up on the family farm and they plan on hopping on a tractor the day after graduation and keeping it going. These are folks that could be biochemist or some sort of engineer within the agricultural world that plays a big supporting role to what's going on, be it research or just day-to-day operations.
We had a recipient from several years ago who is a veterinarian, and there's also a young man who grew up on a good-sized farm here in Wayne County, went to NC State, stayed there, and got a master's degree, and is working there in the plant breeding area now. And there's another young man who was a non-farm, this one was a non-farm kid, and he's working with the Department of Agriculture in the plant breeding area as well, out in the eastern part of the state.
And I mean, some of the research and scientific work that goes into trying to make sure that the plants can withstand drought or perhaps bring a warmer weather plant to this area to survive our winters, that sort of thing. There's just so much that goes into this, and we take it for granted every day, whether we're going to the grocery store or looking at the trees and the different crops that are planted along the road. That's very strong. So tell us how big a deal this is, Eddie, with the Junior Livestock Show coming up.
Well, the Livestock Show, there's less than 2% of our population that's really involved in agriculture industry. So it's getting to where less and less people are aware of what really goes into the production of agriculture. And this program really provides our youth with a good learning opportunity to look at all aspects of production, from the selection of that animal to the raising, the care that goes into it, the animal husbandry practices, and then kind of finishes it up with a marketing program to where they actually see the benefit of the production and the sale of that animal. So it's a good learning opportunity. This year, I think we have 39 kids enrolled in that. We had to step back a little bit this year because of the swine disease that is going around, the PED. So we decided, this for the sake of livestock producers in Wayne County, that we would not have a hog show at the show and sale this year.
That's been a first for a long time.
It is.
That's the first time, yeah. And last year we canceled the hog show at the fair also. So.
Wow. Hey, we've got to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after this quick break. WGBR News Talk 1150. Good morning. It is 8:50 on your Newsmakers for Monday, and we have Mr. Eddie Pitzer, General Manager of Wayne Regional Agricultural Fair and Wayne County Livestock Development Association, and Mr. Curtis Shiver, who's president of that association. I'm not going to say the name again. We're just going over a lot of different things that are happening because, as we said, so many people don't realize that you guys are busy 12 months out of the year, and one thing you're getting ready for is this Junior Livestock Show that we were just talking about.
That's right, Carol. And I tell you, a lot of the work that goes into that, we have to give credit to the Cooperative Extension Service. Kevin Johnson and his staff play a big role.
Don't give Kevin any credit. Okay?
Well, I might want to get him to help me out with something else,
well,
so I got to give him a little credit.
Well, we love Kevin. He's a great guy, and he's a fellow state fan, so I really love him.
Yeah, but the Extension Service helps us quite a bit with putting this program on, especially the educational part of it, and that's what this program's really about, is an educational program for our youth. It really gives them just a good opportunity to be exposed to something that, a lot of kids just don't have the opportunity to be exposed to, and I think it makes some lifelong impressions about the positive aspects of agriculture.
Well, we were just talking about that off the air, that there's some kids that perhaps sports just isn't their thing, or for whatever reason they're not able to. You don't have to grow up on a farm or be affiliated with anything agriculture to participate in 4-H, FFA, and take pride in doing this right here and learn.
That's exactly right. And I mean, we have a lot, not all the kids that show in the livestock show and sale come from a farm background. There's a lot of kids that just really have just a place where they can have a goat or maybe a calf or a hog, and they can participate in the show, because there's a lot of workshops that go into this, a lot of things. Again, the educational aspect of it is a big part of it, to be able to expose them to these things so that they have that experience.
And parents, if you're out there listening, there are ways that, your schools have it. You can contact the Cooperative Extension. You can contact the Livestock Association. But the bottom line is, if you have a child that you want them to learn something new, and it's educational, it's fun, and it's interactive with other kids their own age, check into this, because this just might be future veterinarian. If there's somebody that's already expressed that interest, it just might be a biochemist. It might be, you just never know. So expose them to this, and that way we can keep it growing. Agriculture is the #1 income producer in Wayne County, so we've got to keep it alive in terms of our younger generation.
That's right, yeah.
And many of these kids who are participating, as Eddie has said, they are non-farm people. A lot of the 4-H clubs and a lot of the students who are enrolled in FFA in school are not farm people. And this gives them that opportunity, as you said, to participate in, to grow and to learn something, particularly about our agricultural industry, and in this case, with our livestock show and sale.
I have to ask you, Mr. Shiver, how long have you been doing this?
I've been actively involved in it since 1985. Before that, I've really been involved with it since 1962. I served as an ag teacher for 5.5 years in the Wayne County school system, and then went to Wayne Community College in the ag department there. And we still had some involvement with the fair. And then in 1985, I was elected as an officer, and have been an officer since that time.
So you've worked with Eddie all those years.
I worked with Eddie all the years that he's been there. And he's not been there quite as long as I have, but we've worked together all those years, and we have, I think, an excellent working relationship.
Well, I tell you what, and Eddie, I've got to praise you because this has been your first full year.
That's great.
At the helm, and what a wonderful job. It's funny to me when I say something about Eddie Pitzer, I'll get people say, oh, I met him at Wolffest, right? And so you're leaving your mark, and that was kind of hard to do, filling in the shoes of Mr. Milton Ingram, but you've done a fantastic job, and you've brought a lot of humor. You have brought a lot of humor to this end of it, and we love it.
When he pricks his finger and it bleeds, it's psychedelic colors because he grew up in the fair industry. And he knows it. Flashing lights. You may see a light bulb come out of him. Our board, when Milton announced his retirement, we made plans for a transition for Eddie to be fair manager, and it happened to work out that his retirement from the state job that he had, he was able to transition in a year as the assistant manager, and then the next year as the full-time manager. We hadn't skipped a beat.
I can believe that.
Not one.
I can believe that, and so we're very lucky to have you, Eddie, and I think you're doing a fantastic job. And, just going back and looking at the scholarships that you guys have just handed out.
That says quite a bit, doesn't it, for
really
our association?
Does.
Yep.
It really does. And, I mean, you're talking about less than 30 years, over $160,000.
Yeah.
That goes out. That's helping a lot of kids further their education.
Well, I think when you look at just the scholarships, and the educational factor with the show and sale, but also look at what the fair does as far as promoting agriculture. I mean, and that's the real basis of an agriculture fair. Where else can you get that much exposure to that many people and try and really, we bring them in to entertain them, but hopefully we educate them as to what's going on in agriculture. And our fair is truly an agriculture fair.
It's very evident, and you're right. There's a lot of education out there, and it's so much fun. Yes, the rides are going to attract them, and for folks like me, the little food courts here and there, that's going to do it.
Well, that is the number one draw, is the food.
I think so.
Yeah.
But when you see these kids, whether it's going into the main building and looking at all the displays, or going into the livestock area, they are learning, and it's a lot of fun. And even us old folks get in there and learn a little something each year.
Yeah. So. Well, we have a lot of good livestock shows during the fair. If you come to those, that's a circuit. So we're bringing in kids from all over eastern North Carolina to show livestock at the fair. And think what a great experience that is for a lifetime to think about when you showed something at an agriculture fair as a
kidding.
Kid.
And you've got a lot of stuff already going on for the fair this year. Let's talk about that before we've got to go.
Yeah, well, we're already planning. In fact, we've been planning for quite some time, getting ready for the fair. And, of course, it's coming up September 25th to October 4th. Just right around the corner, seems like, isn't it?
It really does.
Yeah. Hopefully we're going to have some new facilities this year.
Really?
We are in the planning process and the design phase of some new restrooms. We have needed new restrooms.
Hallelujah. That's great news.
That's great news, especially when you plug it in with the new paving that we did several years ago. And then hopefully if we can accomplish this year and get new restrooms in, it hopefully is just going to be a nicer and pleasant experience when you come to the fair, or maybe for your off-season rental out there. So.
Well, it's certainly changed a lot in the 30-plus years that I've been going. Well, maybe 40.
Well, I think you have to look. Our board of directors has been very persuasive about wanting to take what receipts we have and revenues we have and put it right back into the fair. And if you look at our mission, is to promote the livestock industry and our agriculture heritage and the promotion of youth and education of youth. So I think we're doing what our association was originally set up to do.
When it was first organized in 1948, it was given that long name that we've been looking at, and the purpose of it was to promote livestock.
Right.
And shortly after it was organized, they decided that one of the best ways they could promote livestock was to have an agriculture fair.
I tell you what, you guys do a fantastic job. And we're out of time. I hate when that happens, but Mr. Curtis Shiver, thank you so much for joining us. Eddie Pitzer, thank you. What a great morning. So much information. If you need to know anything, get up with these guys and learn more. But we've got to go. WGBR News Talk 1150. Go out and make it a great day.